I'm representing the policy area bioeconomy, which is a part of the EU strategy for the Baltic Sea region, and I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are. I'm going to talk about our new action plan that has relevance for this project, and then I'm going to talk some more about food security, because this is one of the things we are working quite a lot with now. And we'll just share with you some thoughts and inputs. I don't know how well you know the strategy, but the European Union has few of these strategies. Ours is around the Baltic Sea. There are 8 member states that are involved in that, and then within that there are 14 policy areas, as you see, for very different thematic areas. And ours is about bioeconomy and covers agriculture, food, forestry, fisheries, and rural development. And we all work towards 3 objectives: saving the sea, connecting the region, and increase prosperity. We have a steering group with members of all the countries, and as well as Norway, we have a small group of kind of a project management that we call PAC, policy area coordinators, and I've been working with them. And we have some supporting projects. We like to consider this project as one of ours, and more, and project platforms. What do we do? Well, our main areas have been sustainable bioeconomy, kind of just outreach, workshops, road trips, publications, working with the countries in aligning how we work with bioeconomy and bioeconomy strategies. There's also been strong focus on nutrient leakage, linked to the main objective of saving the sea. We have some maybe smaller blue bioeconomy initiatives. There are also both transport and ship are also policy areas. We have been working quite a lot with youth and different initiatives in rural development. And what are we doing? Well, we arrange workshops. It's very much like soft powers. We arrange workshops and seminars. We assist in what we call project generation, trying to support the development and implementation of projects that align with the objectives of the action plan. And we develop policy recommendations, and we try to kind of position ourselves between the project level in the countries, between the countries, kind of the operative level, and the policy level through the steering group, delivering policy recommendations from the projects to the relevant decision-making levels in the countries, and do this in a transnational way. Yes, we have an action plan, and right now we are kind of closing the current action plan that has been what we have been working with in the last 5 or 6 years, or more maybe. And we are formulating a new one that's going to be valid from 1st of January 2027. And there are 3 actions, both in the current one and the new one. And the old one is rather general. It's about strengthening the role and importance of bioeconomy, because back then, especially when we started this work in 2014-15, there was quite a lot of divergence between the countries and within the countries about what is bioeconomy and how do we work with it. So in the beginning, a lot of our work was simply about kind of just to advocate for the role and importance of looking at the bioeconomy as a whole, and to emphasize sustainability, productivity, and adaptation to climate change. The improvement of agricultural practices, especially when it comes to nutrient leakage and recycling. And then we were working with the multiple use of resources when this was possible, mainly linked to the blue bioeconomy. One of the maybe most defining publications we did and published in 2020 was what we call the 10 trends for the sustainable bioeconomy. And you see, I asked, I think, one of these AE models to come up with a good illustration of this. And well, they can do a lot of things, but yeah, they cannot really write, as you see. But that's kind of cute. And yeah, maybe some of you have heard about this 10 trends. It's a publication that was published by the Nordic Council of Ministers, and it's available there, where we defined like 10 trends, and 5 of them were macro trends, and 5 more like bioeconomy trends. And it's kind of interesting to combine this or compare this to the world today. Back then, because this is made it was published in 2020, it was made in 2019, probably, mainly. Well, we foresaw that the world is going digital, but we had no idea about like the AE transformations of a lot of our work. We saw a lot of Green New Deals and green financing, and this is definitely going on. We foresaw urbanization and changing demographics, and this is becoming kind of a mainstream theme, even in national politics and international politics, that we have falling birth rates. It's nothing new. We've had them for a long time, but politicians are starting to realize that this is going to be a problem, and of course, this is especially a problem for the rural areas where a lot of the bioeconomy takes place, because the urban centers, they continue to grow. What's happening now is that the urban centers are increasingly basing their growth on getting people from the rural areas. So we have there's not a win-win anymore; there's a win-lose increasingly, and electrification of the energy system, and this has also taken speed up. When it comes to bioeconomy trends, first one is what we then called closing the industrial loops, and this relates, of course, very well to food waste, to valorization of side streams, and many other things that we've been working quite a lot with. The new protein sources, maybe the work has been a bit slower here than we expected, but it's definitely something that we are still that's still quite high on the political agenda. Algae didn't become maybe the big thing we expected, but it's still brewing. And then storytelling, that was important, and we foresaw that biofuels would replace fossils, maybe as a transitionary fuel, but it looks now more like this transitionary phase has been very, very short, because we are going more or less directly towards electricity. What we don't see here, however, is anything related to security, geopolitics, trade, that has actually become some of the lead themes in almost everything we do, fueled by the COVID-19 epidemic, the Russia's invasion in Ukraine, and of course the geopolitical turmoils that are happening now, maybe fueled by the states. So this is something that is not there, and this also tells us how difficult it is to kind of predict where we are going at any point of time. What we saw was that, well, when we start to put these things together, we would probably see a growth in anything that would be like indoor controlled cultivation systems. and there are many of them. This can be algae, this can be some brewing, like from yeast. This could be fish farming on land. We are seeing quite a lot of investment in that. Recirculatory aquaculture systems, insects, of course, and vegetables grown inside with LED lighting. These closed loop systems where you can design the recirculatory part like from beginning, driven by relatively cheap energy and digitalization. So these are very, very digitalized closed loop systems that are very unlike the traditional agriculture where you take a cow and you put it out on grass and then it emits all kinds of things, and we are leaking methane and carbon dioxide. We are leaking nutrients. We are leaking pesticides. We are leaking antibiotics, and we have a very poor feed conversion rate. So I still think this is something we will see as a very big growth area. And how are we going to go from here to there? Well, it's very much about networking, clustering, capacity building, and regulation has to play a big part there as well. Very often it's about testing things. Research plays a part, but it's very much about testing and investing. And this has then led us maybe to the new action plan, where we have a much stronger focus on food system resilience, including like the security issues, including rural cohesion, and the resilience is also linked up to resources and food waste. Number two is much more direct focus on nutrient runoff, and both because we need to reduce the load of nutrients in our oceans and lakes, and because we need these valuable nutrients to be recycled and used, because all this importing of nutrients from countries that are maybe not very geopolitically stable, this is not the recipe for long-term resilience. So it's simply a very, very bad idea to import a lot of nutrients from faraway places just to run them through our fields and lose a lot of them into the ocean where they then pollute. So this is something we really have to put a focus on. And then we have to work with the both blue and green biomass and increase the valorization in every possible way and through a competitive bioeconomy. And if we look specifically on the action one about food system resilience, we foresee that the challenges are about the resource use, how to maintain the ecological balance, the economic stability, and the energy independence. These are the resources that we need, and a key to this is the circular economy principles, including, of course, food wasting. And of course, if we manage to reduce food waste, we will also reduce the ecological burden and preserve the ecological health. We also have to take into account the climate change, and we cannot afford only to look at how we prevent the climate change. We also have to face the direct effects, be it floodings, excessive rain and floods is something we see quite a lot of. But we can also see droughts. We can also see new diseases, pests. So this is something we definitely have to work with. and the rural economy is maybe the third one, where the accelerating demographic changes is something we have to work with simply to be able to drive our bio-based industries. And all of this comes very much down to the concept of food security. And when we talk about food security, it's not just about how much food do you produce at home, because this is a very simplistic view. This is about short value chains. This is like local food. This is about the procurement processes that have been also developed in this project. This is about circular bioeconomy. This is about food waste. This is about valorization of side streams. It's about food safety. It's about both availability of food and affordability. And then, of course, long-term resilience, preparedness, and stockpiling. And everything of all of these things require well-functioning societies. And societies are not well-functioning unless they have also like energy security, data and internet connections that are secure, and basically information security, that we don't have false news. Few slides just linked to this. Just want to because I thought this picture here is of again our ocean quite great, and it shows us also that as someone said, that Sweden is actually an island, and maybe Finland is an island too, at least now when we have more or less closed the borders to Russia. So practically all import to Sweden and Finland comes through the Baltic Ocean, the Baltic Sea, sorry, and through marine transport. So in that sense, this is why we sometimes say that we are all islands. We also see like that this our ocean is the Baltic Sea is quite crowded, and geography matters in this sense, and this is why we have to think of resilience also in terms of local value chains. There is a lot that can happen: war or terror, trade distortion, epidemics, natural catastrophes, and information distortion. All of these are challenges that we have to deal with on an everyday basis almost. There are also some good news. I've been working in analyzing food security in a few places, and if we look at global food supply, it's actually going upwards. The global supply of calories per capita has been increasing actually since the 50s or 60s, probably longer. And we have continuous growth in all or most food categories. Prices have been fluctuating, of course, because of different types of prices, but still the prices are not going completely out of the chart. There are fluctuations, and this is a big problem for the those parts of the world that have less financial resources. But for the richer countries, this is manageable. Important commodity prices like fertilizer that spiked after Russia's invasion in Ukraine and closing of exports, they have come down again. But again, this is also a vulnerability, and here would have been, of course, much better to have been able to use more of our own recycled nutrients. And it all comes down, I'm sorry this is in Norwegian, but it's just something I've been working with, and the thing is that almost all the food we are working with is a part of some kind of a global supply chains, and this can be scary, but it also has shown that these global supply chains are remarkably resilient, and even if some countries close or some areas close, something else opens up, and there are substitutes, and we get along with this. But of course, securing the global trade is something that is very, very important for all of us. And just as an example, maybe a bad example, but still an example of how this global trade system or supply chains, how resilient this is, that we can look how difficult it has been to sanction Russia. Several years we've been trying all we can to limit trade, to stop imports, exports, and even if everyone is really, really trying all they can, it is difficult. And this maybe also shows us that this is a big, complicated system that has inbuilt resilience. At any point in time, there are about 60,000 merchant vessels, for example, sailing the oceans. I mean, that's quite a lot. So taken together, this picture is...
last words, Torfi, because
exactly.
we're passing time. Yes.
How do we go from here? This is the last slide. It's important we focus on positions of strengths and potentials that we have, each of us, each country, each region, that we have focus on supply chains and vulnerability of supply chains, and sometimes also strategic stockpiling, that we work with our traditional knowledge and culture, each of us and each country and each region, and that we work with adaptability and societal resilience. And these are my last words with this beautiful picture from Greenland.
So I would like to share with you about our successes, good practices, and learnings on food waste prevention and reuse in Gdańsk. As a start with successes, we obtain expertise, the legal expertise on the non-waste of food in school in response to the question, what can be done with unused food in schools? And we also have managed to develop recommendations after the workshop with representatives of the regional Secretariat and epidemiological inspectorate. And the recommendations are on how to prepare more balanced and appropriate calorific meals, and what action could be taken by schools to prevent food waste. This recommendation were sent to all primary schools in Gdańsk. As a first good practice, I would like to present a good practice on food waste reduction and prevention from primary school number 88 in Gdańsk. In this school, meals are consumed at 90%. And meals are served to tables and in vases and on platters, which is quite untypical, unusual in a Polish school. In this school, administration believes that more tasty school meals equal less food wasted, and the good practice in the school include the school administration's commitment to improving food quality, education and encouraging healthy eating habits, and also reducing food waste in a practical solution and tools how to reduce food waste in meal planning and serving. During the project, Foodloops project, we have also developed good practice on food waste valorization, which include circular economy model for bio-waste in primary schools in Gdańsk. During preparation process, the quantity and quality of green waste collected were assessed, and composting solutions and support school staff in the process were discussed. Then, model with the hot composting method was developed by Filip Gołębiewski, a biofarm lab expert and a farmer. And by the end of 2025, we hope to test and describe a model that can be applied to other schools in Gdańsk. And good practices in January 2025, and the workshop to implement this model was held in one of our schools. Students and teachers learn about the composting process and its benefits. And also a new educational space has been created where pupils can participate in preparing compost. And you can see three pictures from this workshop. Regarding the lesson learned during our project, I would like to mention our efforts on including dynamic food procurement into schools, a workshop for school staff on public procurement for the purchase and supply of food products for kitchen in educational institutions was held in order to improve the quality of meals in the institutions and reduce food waste. And after this workshop, we can say that the main challenges for the school staffs are to guarantee the delivery of high quality products in the tender, as well to effectively enforce the terms of the contract with the supplier. Regarding closing the loop in the school, which was or still is our big and the most aim and challenge in our project, we have been informed that farmers are not interested in collecting bio-waste from schools for economic reasons, including time and transport costs. And best solution is to introducing composting process of biowaste at schools for their own needs, for example, in the school lawn or garden. And the main challenge is to increase the amount of locally and regionally grown food ingredients in school canteens. And to achieve this goal, school and contracting authorities should introduce requirements for sustainable food procurement, which is not so easy, as we can say after this project. So we finished and we let's say focused on closing the loop with the valorization of bio-waste in schools, and that's our biggest finding and biggest success in this project. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ahmad. Yes, my name is Tomislav Makar. I work for Directorate-General for Agricultural Development of the European Commission, and particularly in Directorate for Agriculture Markets. Why I'm saying this? Because in fact, the aid for the supply of fruit and vegetables and milk and milk producing educational establishments, or so-called EU school scheme, is the Common Agricultural Policy measure falling under the Common Market Organization, and is in fact introduced as EU aid almost 50 years ago, at first as a program for distribution of milk and milk products to children in schools. And in 2009, additional scheme was added, school fruit and vegetable scheme. And these two schemes were later merged in 2017 in one that we now call EU school scheme. The objective of the scheme is to improve the distribution of agricultural products and to improve children's eating habits. And I'm happy that I could hear Aleksandra's presentation before, because I think that one of the impacts of the scheme for children is in discovering and becoming accustomed to the varieties of tastes at young age. and such experience at young age are important in fostering healthy eating behavior in the future. And greater diversity in the products offer can help to foster children curiosity, and over time increase the amount of products they consume, and as well reduce the amount of food thrown away. So I think this also important aspect of the scheme. And what I would like to present today is how the scheme functions. So in this quite busy slide, the idea is to present the link between the children and agricultural products that is ensured with the school scheme. So scheme provides financing for the member states which basically submit strategies, and all 27 member states implement EU school scheme. To member states, Germany and Belgium have strategies at the regional level. In their strategies, member states define their needs, their objectives, the list of products they intend to produce, the budget. They also define if they intend to use additional national funds, and they define the target group. So in terms of the target group, so the scheme is aimed at children who regularly attend nurseries, preschools, primary schools, and secondary schools. And it's up to the member state to define if this group needs to be narrowed based on the needs in their member state. So as you may see here, figure 18 million children refers to number of children that were participating in the scheme last school year. Out of this number of children, almost 70% refers to primary schools, 21% to nurseries, preschools, preschool establishments, and the rest is secondary schools. Here on the left, I have just for your idea provided the the overview for from left to right, for Germany, Poland, Sweden, Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Denmark. The number of participating children and the ratio of each level in that number. I will also provide you at the end with a link to the data where you could go in more detail. So 18 million children in 129,000 schools. How it goes? In fact, aid covers supply and distribution of products, but as well accompanying educational measures, and each member state needs to ensure that children participating in the scheme can participate in these measures. In next slide, I will tell more about these measures. So priority is given to fresh fruit and vegetables and drinking milk, but also some other products can be distributed, like falling under the processed fruit and vegetables, like dry nuts or juices, and certain milk products like yogurts and cheeses. And how member state choose the products. So one important thing is that they need to ensure the appropriate involvement of their national authorities responsible for health and nutrition in drawing up the list of products. or their appropriate authorization. Member states need to use objective criteria, which may include one of the following. Here on the left, you may see health considerations, environmental considerations, seasonality, variety of products, availability of local original production. The numbering refers to the number of member states who have defined these criteria in their national strategies for this period, ongoing period. Just for the info, refers to school years from 2023 to 2029. In addition, member states can prioritize local original purchasing, organic products, short supply chains, environmental benefits, and products recognized under quality schemes, like meaning PDOs and PGIs. Also, the number refers to the number of member states who opted on different priorities. For your information, just to get the idea of the quantities, you may see here are the figures of the quantities of fresh fruit distributed, drinking milk distributed, yogurt, juices. Also, for your information, good to know that, for example, out of almost 58 million kilos of fresh fruit and vegetables, 9% was organic, and in case of drinking milk, this is the same. So let's say 9% of these products are organic. Also to be noted that this information is voluntary for member states, so it could be even higher. The second thing, what I would like to also to say a few words are accompanying educational measures. Is it just to turn the slide? Yes. So member states, in order to make the school scheme more effective, also provide these measures and need to ensure, as I said, that all children can take part in them. And these measures are directly linked to the objectives of the school scheme of increasing consumption and shaping healthier eating habits. And they are aimed at reconnecting children to agriculture and variety of agricultural products, and educating children about healthy eating habits, local food chains, organic, sustainable production, and food waste. I heard a presentation before me, so this is also part of the school scheme accompanying educational measures. Also, numbers refers to member states who helped opted in their strategies for these topics. What is interesting that always for me that these measures can take different form of activities, like visit to farms, or let's say production sites, setting up and maintenance of school gardens, then food preparation, tasting classes, cooking classes, lesson seminars, and different other measures like competitions or games. So my favorite and personally most interesting is cooking and tasting classes. I think this can be very very interesting, and also good to know that member states can introduce other agricultural products in educational measures to offer children to taste these products and to get known on and familiar with the these products that are maybe new to them. As we are, I think, late, I will finish with that. Just for your info, these are links to the interesting sites that could provide information on the school scheme. By country is link to the specific member states with information on the strategy, contact details, and monitoring reports. And the third link, as I mentioned during my presentation, there is a so-called agri-food data portal where you can find information about the implementation in each particular member state, on the financing, on the budget executed, on the products, number of participating children, and so on and so on. So this is it. From my side, I'm happy to reply to your questions.
So my name is Ulla Santi, and I work as a project manager on behalf of Savonia in this Foodloops project, and my background is more in business and circular business model development, for example, and also I have some studies in PhD studies in technology as well. And I will present today the Foodloops good practices from Kuopio, Finland, what we have had so far in this project. And here are our stakeholders. We have cooperation with this Cervica Ltd, which is a massive food provider to almost all the schools and kindergartens in North Savo area, as well as the well-being area like hospitals and elderly care and so on. So they serve like tens of thousands meals per day. So it's very massive, and that generates some challenges if we think of developing the for example, the buying and tendering process. So during the Foodloops, we have organized several workshops, which have included the kickoff with municipalities, school caterers, schools and vocational institutes, and then we have had meetings with some certain schools, sustainability groups, and also we have done this very visual and also very active network SISU. We made event in Waste Week, and I will tell you soon little bit more about this campaign, what we had, and we planned that quite a long time with them, and it turned out quite good and had lots of partners and participants with municipalities, waste companies, and also parents and students. And we have also visited the biogas facility, because most of our bio waste goes to biogas facility, and they will make biogas out of it for trucks, for example. And we have done a lot of communication development and presented farm visit for one class, and also have tastings in Classical High School in Kuopio, and also had webinars and collaboration activities, some other projects and replication workshops. Recommendations what we have had, as we can read also in manual, we have recommended to brand school restaurants, school canteens as restaurants, not canteens, because then it would be something special. Also increasing themed food days and something like variety for students, and that's the reason that we would increase more of the attractiveness of school meals and the whole canteen. and ideas of minimizing queues and also the noise in the school canteen would be very good. And also many of the students, according to our research, don't like to eat the vegetarian food, but then again, they don't recognize all the vegetarian food as vegetarian food. For example, spinach pancakes, that's like normal food for them. So we thought that maybe it could be that we wouldn't name them as vegetarian food at all, but we would use the food actual names. Then, of course, reducing food waste through planning. You can reduce most of the food waste in designer table, as to say, and they could use such an app and to tell that if they would eat or not in a certain day. But then again, there's challenges that then if somebody answers that they wouldn't eat during that day, the student wouldn't go to eat because they have answered that I wouldn't prefer to eat, for example, in vegetarian food day. So, and then we have had some discussions and cooperation with our the whole Finland school schedule maker called Wilma application, that they would tell the student would have a tick the box there that if I will eat during that day, and we have given some recommendations that it would be very good to have some kind of indication that if the student will eat, but it's in the hands of the application developer that we are not able to sort of push anymore longer, that they would make that application work like that. But we have given some recommendations for them.
And actually, in the high school of Kuopio, the classical one, the issue is now with the headmaster, so they will probably return it in the autumn.
Yes, we will continue discussions that if that would continue after the Foodloops project as well, this development. And also some of the schools use the rescue app to sell the surplus food, which is very good. And they also have, like, after the lunchtime, they invite some local people to eat in a very low price the food in the school restaurant. And of course, empowering the sustainability teams is very good, including the rector to the discussions, because it's very important to have all the levels of the decision makers part of the process, and that's why we have had these discussions with sustainability teams. Unfortunately, we have had also some decline of the funding for schools at the moment, so we are not sure if all the sustainability groups are still actively operating, but we are working on that and figuring out if they are still active. And also creating menus. The Serika is creating menus and asking students their favorite foods each year, and then they vote for the best foods, and it's counted for their menu planning. And also very shortly about this that there's a very large need for awareness raising, because students don't always recognize all the details what the meal providers are doing. So we made this survey on at the beginning of the project, and then students who we interviewed were going to go to eat. So that was a bit challenging, that we didn't figure out. We didn't interview possibly those students who don't eat at all. So
yeah, because they weren't obviously present.
Yes, they were in the shop or somewhere else. So we were in front of the school restaurants, and that's why our survey is mostly about those students who eat. So they consider school food as very good. But then again, they don't discuss with their parents, and that was one thing that we wanted to take into account when we were planning these project activities. And then we made this superpower from school food event, and we also promoted this food waste week that there was lots of flyers and information divided to all the schools and also kindergarten how to decrease the food waste. And we had this panel discussion where there was like students, there were some parents, and also waste companies and municipalities present. So what do you think, Anna? The discussion was ongoing, and it could have been ongoing for ages in this event.
Yes, pupils were having a lot of views and were very
active.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think this kind of activities are something that they wish to have more. And then we also have this progressing of sustainable farming. We have visited this Kuikkalahti farm. Then we had this webinar of latest technological developments of sustainable farming, and also field trip for RDI developers to Kasum biogas facility to learn and build more cooperation. And also we took the class of high schoolers to the farm in Siilinjärvi to understand where the food comes from. So, but tendering is still a challenge because, as I said, we have like really large tendering, and it's very difficult to take into account small farms into tendering process. But we also had this cooperation with Freshnet, who collects, for example, cauliflower or some that kind of products, and they can, like, actual individual farms can be part of like larger tendering process then if they gather all the small farms together. So that's a good thing, and they do that in the whole Finland level. And then there's few pictures of this orientation trip that we had this study visit to the farm. And what do you think of student views of the farm, Anne? They seem to be very happy, and some of them were very experienced.
Yes. Based on the feedback, they learned about the animal welfare issues, agricultural financing, and farming as livelihood. And especially the financing part, there's a lot of questions.
Yes, that's true.
And students and teachers.
because Finland exists in very north, we have quite a bit challenges with this financing, and there's room to develop. So if there's any partners who want to develop that with us, then we would be very happy to do that. And then we had this plant-based eating showroom, so to say, in school. Do you want to say, Anne, something about this? You were there with Evi.
Yes, this session was organized as part of the well-being day of the classical high school, and we were there 2 hours and had like vegan sausages and cheeses and some vegetables and some vegan like meat. And to most of the students, these products were new. Only a few had tasted them before, and well, those who came to taste were quite enthusiastic, and I think opinions were like
divided.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's definitely something new to them.
Yes.
Then, because the opinions were divided.
Mm.
Okay, and also we have something upcoming, even the project is quite near to an end, or the implication phase is coming to an end. Then we have this presentation of humus campaign, which is composting, and they do like small composting for kindergarten, so we are looking forward to that. And then all kind of spreading knowledge and information about the manual what Foodloops has done, and also planning for next waste week operations. Even though the project is ending, we want to carry on the cooperation with this TISU group. And we also write an article about Cervika and waste week operations, what we have just done so far. Thank you for listening. And there's a picture from the local municipal waste company of us when there was a Kuopio visit. So that was very interesting, and we learned quite a lot, the whole group, that what's going on, how the waste is separated in Kuopio. Thank you.
Hello, I am Zita Ceponyte from Lithuanian Consumer Institute, and I introduce my presentation about case study from Foodloops in Lithuania. Our project in Lithuania was concentrated in Vilnius and Panevėžys, two cities. Vilnius, as you know, is the capital of Lithuania, and Panevėžys is a smaller city, but about 150 kilometers from Vilnius. In Lithuania, we have two school meal organization. It means that we have external catering services, which delivers food to schools, and also the other option is that schools prepare food on site. During project implementation, we conducted a lot of workshops and identified some challenges. And you could see 4 challenges which are generalized. It means that school meals are not adapted to students sometimes, and leads to dissatisfaction and food waste. Also, we have such a feature that there are some legislative national regulations which restricts flexibility in design of school menus. And also we identified some limited knowledge on food waste prevention, sorting, valorization by school teachers and students, and especially our interviews, desk researches showed that there are limited knowledge on circular food systems. And one more challenge which we identified is that local farmers are not unable to meet the food demands for schools due to insufficient quantities. And in this area, we worked tightly with Chamber of Commerce, which is of Agriculture, Chamber of Agriculture, which is executing piloting project in Panevėžys region now. As I said, we organized several workshops and attracted a lot of stakeholders. It means the school administrations, educators, regional management centers in Panevėžys and Vilnius, also schools, such we have very interesting experience in Panevėžys. It means nature school, which is providing some free of charge activities to schools and is financed by Panevėžys Municipality. Also, we met with caterers, involved them in our workshops, and also farmer associations and other stakeholders. What possible solutions we identified? It's related, of course, to challenges. Firstly, it should take students' preferences into account. We identified that there are some questionnaires to evaluate food quality and also food waste, but for which caterers are responsible, but not always they take into account the results of these surveys. Also, we identified that educational programs and awareness building is insufficient, especially as concerns circular food systems in schools, which is quite new in Lithuania. Also, food waste valorization and sustainable partnerships. Some challenges in composting food waste and use of it for gardening. And in Lithuania, one of our workshops, we involved the Ministry of Environment and Food and Veterinary Service because we have in Lithuania very cautious approach to composting of kitchen waste due to cross-contamination issues. Yes, we learned some lessons learned. I would like to present each indeed to involve stakeholders in circular food systems in schools is a very crucial question. Also, holistic food waste management remains challenging despite all workshops and stakeholder engagement. Stakeholders showed high interest in coordination and of circular food systems in school, but we think that we need some more coordination and political will, because a lot of national regulations are implemented by municipalities and schools, and this we need to involve also in Lithuania, also with institutions. Of course, there are some more lessons learned. It's stakeholders long-term cooperation, and also other like constant communication between stakeholders and what they are doing. My last slide is about structuring composting pilot in Lithuania. And we created a separate piloting project. As I already said, that we have some national regulations and also cautious approach to composting. Therefore, we decided to select schools which are already doing composting, but this composting is not structured. Therefore, we decided to involve a target group at school administrations and teachers, especially dealing with environment and sustainability issues. And we looked for schools which already have composting bins and waste sorting is practicing, but no structured composting process or stakeholder contacts. And we will have some phases. It means we will perform audit when we teach school administration and teachers on circular food systems. It will be quite general training, and when we go to practicing structured composting and also involve some stakeholders. It means farmer association, and we are planning also to involve management, waste management center, and then we go to evaluation and documentation. What results we expect? We expect that we will have in piloting school structured and continuous composting process, increased share of composted waste, and at least we involve one stakeholder or two, as I mentioned, and we describe some recommendations, some model replication for other schools. Thank you for your attention.
Why did we start? Why did we even do this? I'm going to give you a quick overview that all the schools provide hot lunches during every day. A noticeable number of students still choose to not to eat them, raising questions about taste, timing, and overall appeal. One of the persistent challenges that we faced is the inconsistency in school quality, the quality of school meals, even though they can have the same companies that offer the food, but the chefs are different. So one of the goals was to put all the chefs on the same level. The crucial connection between what children eat and the physical health and the mental health and their ability to concentrate and learn during the school day is still underestimated and not very well understood. And food waste continues to be a major concern in schools, with uneaten meals often ending up in the trash. And as the Finnish presentation said, that kids don't even know that what they are not eating that ends up in as a food waste. This is the same issue in Estonia. And the awareness of eating healthy is low. So people, even parents, don't really understand how it's connected to the body, to the mind, to the quality of sleep. So this is one of the goals or one of the reasons this project was made. And we started like this. The management group was established with 13 dedicated members, forming a solid foundation for ongoing collaboration. And in October, we had a hands-on workshop. After that, we had a chef's cooperation day. Over 20 chefs took part of this, and 3 of them decided to join the leadership group right away. In the south of Estonia, we had a food conference. There was almost 100 participants. There we try to give the insight and give inspiration to all the participants. And in November, we also had a practical workshop for all the people who were interested. And we created like a group who would take the initiative in this kind of program. And these are the target groups who gave their insight and gave the feedback, what we have to do, what is needed to do. Of course, the school community, all the students, parents, teachers, everybody, and the decision makers who, the local governments and everybody. And also chefs, which we thought was really important, that the chefs would get their own voice, as we felt that in Estonia, the chef is usually the school chef is usually like somewhere far away, and their decisions and their voice is not like being heard of enough. So we really felt that they should be in the decision-making process, like from the start to the finish. So and the goal of the program, why we even I talked about it a little bit, but the goal is written here really well. That we wanted to improve and support students' health and well-being, physical health, mental health, the quality of their sleep, how they socialize during the school day. And to achieve this, the program works with the whole school community to strengthen the food education and shift school catering towards more like the student-centered approach, one that listens to students' needs and preferences and involves them directly how the foods are prepared and served. The pilot program was last school year, like they finished a month ago. We had 5 schools. We wanted to start with 4, but we took 5, and we saw that 5 is actually the correct number, like the perfect number. So we start with the next school year with 5 schools as well. Here you can see the principals of the first schools, and Kaidi is right here with the classes. She's leading everything, like she's the heart and soul of this project. A program, we should say program, because it's not like a one-year program. We want to continue it as long as all Estonian schools have like a perfect, meals and everything. And here you can see the stages and timeline, how we are doing it. So the program kicks off in the late April or the early May, which is kind of the end of the school year. Usually in Estonia, the school ends in the 1st or 2nd week of June. We have meetings in schools with mentors who begin working with schools directly. We have 2 mentors. I show their names in the next slide. The very first task, sorry about the notifications. The very first task is to form the dedicated team. Every school makes their own team, and we gave them instructions that every person who's in the team, they have to want to be in the team. So this is the only way it works. And the persons they do not have to have any kind of knowledge about food, but they should have knowledge about kids and how to implement different things inside of the school system. And then the opening seminar for the schools would be in the between August and October, depending on how the schools can manage their time. During their first meeting with other schools and with mentors, they start carrying out the self-assessments, what they're doing, what they need to do, how they want to continue, what are the goals and everything. And they're involving first grade students and parents as well in the project, because the studies have shown that during the first grade, the parents are as involved as they're ever going to be in their kids' school life, because everything is new, everything is interesting, and they want to be really involved in everything. And after that, the schools will create their own goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, and the experience for every school is totally different. Even though the program is the same, all the schools have different goals. Everything's different for them, because they have some kind of meetings in the middle where they are discussing what they are doing, but all the schools, for them, the experience is totally different. And after that, they are trying to fulfill the short-term goals, moving towards to the long-term goals, and in the end, they have this kind of like a big seminars where they are talking about how they did, what they want to do differently, and they give feedback to the program leaders as well. So here are the benefits from the program. This is created by us and also from the feedback of the schools. here you can see pretty much everything I have already told, but I'm going to show, these are the mentors. We have 2 mentors and they are connected to schools all the time. Schools can call them, email them, ask any kind of questions they have, and they are supporting the schools, let's say 24/7. Of course, not during the nights, but still they are always supporting them, that schools do not feel that they are alone or they're doing it only by themselves. They always have somebody to lean on. And this is the feedback from the schools. The relevance of the development program was rated 7.1 out of 10, which we are really happy because this was the pilot year, the first year, and we expected to make a lot of mistakes because, I mean, you learn from the mistakes more than you learn from the success. So we are happy, really happy with this, and we expect this to increase or grow every year. And as you can see, schools gave us feedback that the approach was new. Nothing like this has never done this in Estonia before. We really raised awareness about the food. We had seminars which where every school could decide which was the focus group. Was it teachers, parents, kids, the chefs? And we had seminars. We tried to raise awareness. What to eat, how it's connected to mental health, how it's connected to physical health, what really happens in the body if you eat, if you skip the meals, if you skip the meals and decide to eat something, more unhealthy, everything what they needed from us to do, we did for them. And they had also feedback that's not written here, that kids actually started to think about what they're doing, started to approach the eating as a logical, how to eat logically. If I'm eating something, does it help my goals? If my goal is to, feel well, I don't know, run faster, jump higher, study better. If what I'm eating is actually logical, is it actually supporting my goals? And that's like a really nice feedback for me, especially because I work with kids directly. And they said that even though in the beginning the project or the program felt a bit scary because they felt that maybe they have to do so much things and they don't have time or energy to do it, then in the end they felt that everything what was done, supported the kids, supported the teachers, supported the leaders of the government, supported the chefs and everything. This is the direct feedback from the team members. They really enjoyed they also enjoyed that they had now a group of people inside the school that are working together and they had the same goal. That even though they were helping the kids and the parents and everybody, that they felt that the school as a whole came together as well. So here you can see the points which all the schools gave us. This is the average of the 5 school the point system. Yeah, and we were learning during the project a lot ourselves. In the beginning, we felt like the project, how it was made in the beginning and how it ended was a bit different because we were trying to, to improve everything during the process as well. And this is the leadership team. This is pretty much the feedback from the school head or the principal. That in Estonia we have a really big issue with the health issue with nutrition and choices kids are making at the moment. That school principals felt that it really changes the way kids are seeing food and how they are making choices themselves. That the kids were actually trying to or beginning to teach the parents as well how to do something. How food can be more supportive of their health and everything like this. And it became clear that school food requires more attention. It actually, the things we did in Tartu, how they traveled mouth to mouth to other counties as well and the whole Estonia. And other counties started to ask from us as well, how are you doing this? It seems really interesting. We want to do something like this as well. And that was one of our biggest goals, to pilot this idea, learn from it, make it better, and then share it with the rest of the Estonia as well. And here you can see it's one of the first meetings. I'm not unfortunately in the picture. I might be the one who took the picture, I'm not sure. These are the school principals, the decision makers, everybody who's included in the pilot year. And we also have additional activities as well that we are creating. We are creating a guide to help the first grade students and their parents to talk meaningfully with the children about food and nutrition, because we felt that the food is just something that is there, everybody's eating it, and nobody's actually thinking about this. And we are trying to create instruction to the parents how to talk about food with their kids at home, how to connect it with school and everything, that the kids learn from the parents, from school, get smarter themselves, and then create like a circle that every kid who's growing up at the moment is really knowledgeable about healthy food, and they can become really like healthy parents themselves at some point. And we're also launching a county-wide survey to measure the satisfaction of school meals, and we are holding a school-based seminars titled "Why Should Children Eat School Lunch?" It's like a really simple question, but there's a lot of difficult answers that we are trying to give the difficult questions that we try to give the answer to. And we also created a short 1-minute videos about healthy food and healthy eating, because we can't make longer videos because nobody's watching them. It has to be really short, really interesting, really the new information, or the information has to be really sharp. And actually we brought out 4 main topics, but actually there was 15 or 16 different topics. And we didn't figure out themselves, but schools gave us the ideas what they would like to get answered to. And the development program was created by different entities, like Tartu County Food Education Steering Group and the Research Center of Organic Farming of Estonian University of Life Sciences, and also Tartu Biotechnology Park. The last one, there's a really good quote created by one of our mentors, that we all share the responsibility to ensure our students have tasty and well-balanced meals at school. Let's come together to support the well-being and health of our youth. We really try to use the word responsibility, and not that we have to do something because we're here, but there's a responsibility to do it. We have to, like parents, they have the responsibility. School, they have responsibility. The government, they have the responsibility. And this message really traveled well. Really thank you to everybody.
Hey, my name is Ans Snickere. I represent Latvian Rural Advisory and Training Center. And today I will talk a bit more about school chef training. I will try to be quick as we are in a lack of time. What our company represents, these are just few of our clients and few of our services. Sorry. Yeah, I will go back. So just take it off. So you can see we are the biggest rural advisory company in Latvia. We have 26 offices. And how do we become interested in school trainings and school chef trainings? So we wanted to raise awareness of school chef profession and raise their prestige, because we don't think they're well kind of noticed, and they have a very tough job to do. In 2023, we started together with Latvian Dietitian and Nutrition Association, Best School Chef in Latvia contest. This contest consisted of two parts. One part was every family member whose children went to school could send us my child likes the school meal. And so the top schools were awarded to the final, and we asked for them to send in 2 weeks menus. And special judges were evaluating the best schools, and the results were kind of introduced in the national television in the morning session. And what we understood from this contest, in the first contest, there were 800 those replies from the families. And in this year's, we got more than 1,000. So we understood that we don't want only reward the best chefs and raise awareness. We wanted to give this shoulder, this possibility to grow for other chefs as well, because of their because apparently they need some guidance or what we saw that they lack something. So in order to do that, we worked training methodology. It consists from 4 parts. One is engagement. School chefs usually were asked to send in 2 weeks menus, and we display those menus on the screen, not be able to see which school menu it is. So we asked them to kind of think what could be improved. We didn't say what's wrong with here or what's kind of or how bad work you're doing, but what could be improved. And that was a one really amazing question, because chefs started to think, oh yes, this is something we can improve. And if you see 20 kitchens, for example, menus, you can get some tips, and they are starting to look at their menus from different kind of angles. So that was really important, so they can share their experiences, how they're creating those menus, and being engaged with each other. Second of all, local products. Every time when we, for example, those master classes took place in the regions. For example, one city, Preili in Latvia, in Latgal region. So we prepared all the products the chefs are going to cook from local farmers, from local producers. I would say 90% they were locally sourced. So why is that? Because chefs do not know local products, and they do not have the knowledge that those products can be taken from the region. And they were really surprised and got to know local producers and how these products can be implemented in the everyday school menu. And we understood that we need to improve their food literacy skills as well, and talked more about the procurement, green procurement, and how to follow up these things. And the third thing, chefs usually they need safety, and they need to save time. And in order to do so, they have their own recipe, and they know how much it takes to prepare this meal for 100 people, 200 people. And they are not willing to improvise. They're not willing to try, because if they're lack of time, they're not going to do that. So we introduce them with new equipment and show them possibilities, how to change, how to save time, and how to improve the recipes by using new equipment, and how can we diverse the menus. And third of all, we didn't want high-end chefs to teach school chefs, because then it will be not at the same level. So what we do in our trainings, in our school chefs, is to find someone who understands children. And so we ask our children's hospital chef. He was before a major chef, but then he went to the public sector. And so he knows the children and he knows the experience. Last year, we held 3 master classes, everyone a little bit different, because the target audience were a bit different. So I will show you a video from the last masterclass we held in Riga. That was for all the Latvian chefs. We were learning about using legumes and vegetables more and more in the autumn season, and how to implement. And it was really circular food practice, because we didn't waste anything. All was used as properly, and we talked about how to serve the food for children, and how to combine different kind of colors and tastes, and about equipment as well. So it was really meaningful, because some of the chefs said that they have lack experience of equipment, and then they could go and try it and see. So in this year, we held 1 masterclass already together with Project Kismet in the Videm region. There were more than 20 school chefs, and what I really liked, that there were procurement specialists also present. So we have still some master classes planned in August, and 1 or more maybe trainings for autumn break. So I'm about the results. What we have seen since we started this, that the confidence of using local ingredients increases. They have been revising menus and asking for our help to revise menus more seasonally. And connections with local producers have been established. And so the conclusions, we are hoping that we will reach 140 chefs after this project ends. But what I would just emphasize on is that the system needs to improve entire system. We need to improve entire system. We cannot focus only on school chefs. And what I would, I don't know how it's in other countries, but in Baltic countries, each school chef kitchen differs. And I would like that it is the same. It is the same opportunities in each municipality, providing the school equipment equal, because, for example, some of the schools still uses wood ovens, and some of the schools, they don't have proper knives. Chefs take their own knives. So the situation is worry, and we want, of course, healthy children, and we need to work with the children. So every time, every meal, it's a lesson to learn about what and how can it be improved, and it's collaboration with all the system. So I hope I was very fast enough.
So some ideas about capacity building methodology, and I'm very glad that mostly all the speakers pointed out that capacity building is very important. And
My task in the project was, with all the green liberty capacity and expertise, was to shape this capacity building methodology and to show what are mainly ideas and parts that compose this methodology. This was done for Circular FoodShift, and we took this as a main idea. So as you see, my name is Inga. I come from the environmental organization Green Liberty, and I'm still very happy to be part of the project. So for you, the first things is, what are the main parts or stepping stones of this capacity building methodology? And I highlighted 5 of them, saying that, first of all, food culture, food values and needs in the Baltic region, this is the main part. Then I highlighted several extremely main keywords for this methodology, and I will show them to you. Then I propose that food resource value retention hierarchy is the heart of this methodology, several initiatives connected to that, and then some ideas about circular food network. So my story begins with saying that food culture of the Baltic region is very much connected to social nature of food. And it is how we, what are our habits and experiences, how we prepare and how we consume food. And again, how we express ourselves in communication, in passing the cultural heritage in connection of food. And for this, I believe, and all my colleagues, we believe that social nature should be highlighted, because we cannot move forward doing some changes if we do not consider social nature. Again, what are the main features of food consumption in the Baltic region? Especially here in Latgale region, we are consuming food with a very high emphasis of local sufficiency, that we want to grow, to produce and to eat and to cook local food. And I think that more and more it becomes value all over in the global world as well. Then we appreciate short supply chains, saying that for us it is important to speak about the idea that we know growers, and we can trace the food. We can say this cucumber comes from the local garden, and we know stories. And again, it applies a little bit more to social nature of food. One more thing is giving and taking food with you. If you are visiting your relatives and friends and you have some food that is not eaten, so always we give this food as a takeaway thing, and this is appreciated very much as of welcoming culture. Not wasting. We all know about leftover cooking, and this should be part of our daily agendas if we have some leftovers. And then eating and sharing food together. For our region, it is very important that once in a month or in a shorter while, we have joint meals with several generations together. And so we should take this as a heart of the methodology as well. Again, circular food consumption needs is one of the next steps. And here I want to highlight that the food should be inclusive. It should has a balanced offer. It should go with low environmental impact. We should think about deposit containers, and we should think about restaurants or cafes outside of big cities that all people can join and have this food culture there. And we should take into consideration that food is an excellent educational tool as well. With this saying that we can move to the keyword part. And for you all, it is a nice chance to learn some Latvian here, because I have highlighted keywords not only in English but in Latvian. To discuss about circular food methodology, we should actually firstly come with what we mean by this. And I highlighted that it is food that is responsibly produced, distributed, prepared, and consumed with no food waste to go to landfill. And this is the main idea for us. Then we can jump to what is circular food shift. It is the transformation of the whole food system from linear to circular, with all the things and so on inside. And then we should think about what is circular food system itself. It is a network of food and other sector stakeholders that are closely connected to food and with a common goal to increase circular food initiatives. So number 2 is done. Let's jump to number 3. And as I have shared already, that we were looking for the heart or the main thing that we should build capacity building methodology around. And we found that food resource value retention hierarchy is the best map that makes our understanding more clear about several approaches and initiatives, how we can move more closer to circular food shift. And this is how it looks in theoretical, in Latvian. You see that retention hierarchy 0 level is in the very top of this hierarchy, and the red one connected with linear economy, it is at the bottom. And so let's come with me and let's explore that first 3 green levels, retention of food waste 0, 1, and 2 is connected to waste hierarchy as well. It is to refuse any possibilities that food could become waste, to rethink different ways of rethinking about using food. And here one of the very well-known actually example, not only in Latvia, but in other countries, is food waste audit. And we have great examples from kindergartens to higher education institutions and even to businesses, how we audit food waste, how we trace and how we measure and how we then select our best practices. And level number 2 is to reduce. And here we provide ideas about zero waste cooking and about food waste reduction workshops that could be connected with possibility of reduction food waste. The next is the middle level, and it is a little bit more technical. It is reuse. When we think about reusing of food leftovers, and we have seen a lot of different initiatives emerging recently, like community food refrigerators or last-minute food markets or food rescue volunteer networks that might appear or appearing in different municipalities, because we believe that municipality is the base of that. And then a little bit more with food technology is connected. This is repairing, refurbishing, and manufacturing, and industrial conversion of food surpluses, food waste and food byproducts into value-added products. It is these 3 levels combined together. And coming to the red one, repurposing, recycling, and recovering. You see that food leftover cooking and disco soups of different public festivals, how we ask or how we invite different volunteers to come and to cook together and to enjoy what we have done. And then it is community composting and composting networks and workshops that we can always find in our national level as well. So these are the main initiatives, the heart of food waste or the heart of capacity building methodology. And actually we have piloted this methodology already, working with vocational school educators, because we believe that those who provide education connected in food or qualification of youngsters, that they should, first of all, they should combine this methodology in their daily life of education programs. And my nearly next slide, or nearly the end, is that circular food network is a very urgent thing to do, because we are not fighters alone. We should involve all the possibilities or possible stakeholders here. And we want to say that we all represent at least 3 groups. So we are not just in one group. We, first of all, we represent the group of food supply chain. then we would say that we can be legislators or policy makers in different level, and awareness and promoters and educators as well. And without any of those, we cannot go and move forward. So thank you very much.
So as we are talking about the methodologies and tools, so I will also highlight one tool which we developed within the Foodloops project. That is the manual on local cooperation for circular biowaste in schools and beyond. So what can reader find in this manual? They will find the value chain of the food system, but focusing on the school food system. What are the sources of food waste in the schools? They are, for example, kitchen waste, serving waste, and plate waste, and the drivers for the food waste. Like they could be behavioral change. They involve, for example, attitudes toward the food waste and traditions toward about the food. Then we have the operational drivers. Then we described what are the operational drivers that can cause food waste. So these are, for example, the efficient management, the management of the canteens, the demand, forecasting of the meal demand, and situational factors that are related to the kitchen environment, the canteen environment, how noisy it is, how much time the kids have for the meals, etc. Then it also explains the whole process of cooperation for the circular biowaste management in the schools, from assessing the local situation to building the trust among the stakeholders and co-developing the solution. And it also provides practical methods, insights, and examples from over 3 partner countries, Finland, Lithuania, and Poland. How to identify the key challenges to focus on. It whole describes how was it done in our partner countries, and finally it gives some ideas to start the cooperation for the circular biowaste management in schools. Who are the target groups of our manual? They are, for example, the farmer associations, because they are representing the agriculture sector and they are key actors in the food value chain. They are the potential customers of the valorized bio-waste products like organic fertilizers, and they are important partners for doing the valorization projects with the schools. The second important target group is the schools and school administrations. They can, of course, change the procurement practices towards more sustainable and circular food procurement. They have the ability to run the extracurricular activities, involve the children in the extracurricular activities and initiatives for on-site valorization and separation of the bio-waste. And they can also run the school programs and policies for the valorization of the food waste in the schools together with the municipalities and the farmers. Municipalities are our next target group because they can work with the farmers and they have the leverage to increase the more supply of organic food by supporting the local farmers, and they can facilitate the cooperation with the local actors, and they can set the regulatory and logistical support frameworks for valorization initiatives. And last but not least, the caterers are our important stakeholders because they have the access to the large quantities of the food waste in the schools, and they can prevent the food waste through their operations through efficient practices, and they can also separate at source the food waste and bio waste. A hierarchy of food waste, we are also advocating for using a hierarchy of food waste when it comes to planning the interventions for circular food waste, circular bio waste management in the schools. So you explaining already, but I will just quickly recap some of the important points. So this hierarchy of food waste is it's a reverse pyramid. So on the bottom we have as Inga mentioned, we have the most undesired options to deal with the food waste, which are, for example, disposal. In disposal, when we opt for simple disposal, we have the problems of CO2 emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, and land use issues. So these are most undesirable options to deal with the food waste issues. In the ladder, when we go up to the ladder, the second option is the recovery through anaerobic digestion to create biogas and fertilizer, but this is also not more desired option. I'm just giving quick examples. Then in the middle is the composting of the food waste. In this way, we can recover some of the nutrients and value from the food. And the best options, as my previous colleague mentioned, reuse and prevention. In the reuse is to reuse the food and through food banks and through distribution channels, so we can reuse the surplus food. And then prevention is the most important and most desired option, where we intervene early in the value chain and try the food waste from occurring at all. We have 5-step methodology to foster the cooperation for circular bio-waste management in our manual. The 5 steps are, first of all, we should start with assessing the local situation, identify challenges and enabler and key stakeholders in the school food system. The challenges could be, for example, the canteen environment, it could be the demand assessment. Then after this initial assessment of the situation, we propose to have workshops with the stakeholders like farmers, schools, administrations, caterers, municipalities, bring them together and foster mutual understanding of each other's needs to come on to a common vision and identify the priority areas to address the challenge. Then in the next phase, we propose having the co-developing solutions workshops, where the stakeholders come together and they collectively together participatory way they develop the solutions for bio-waste valorization strategies. And these solutions should be small so that they can be pilot tested and results are evaluated so that they can be then reviewed if the solutions are going to work or not. So we did this within our Foodloops project. We had pilots for composting, for example, and we are thinking about the pilots for the digital demand assessment tools for the school meals. And the next step in our methodology is the replication. So the learnings from these co-creation workshops and implementation of pilots should be then disseminated through transnational workshops to empower the further stakeholders and expand the cooperation. And lastly, the results and feedback from the dissemination from the replication workshops should be collected and they are disseminated through within a wider stakeholder network. We had in our manual 3 case studies we presented as our partner countries are, you have seen it listed. We have from Finland, Kuopio, which was our one of the pilot country, then Gdańsk and Lithuania. From in Finland, we had Kuopio, which was our implementation city, which is based in North Savo, Finland. It has around 124,000 residents. It's famous for its lakes, forests, farmland, and has a strong primary production sector. Finland is a small, Kuopio is a small city, which is in our project. There are 43 schools plus vacation school, each serving around 500 students with only the challenge for the Kuopio was in the school food system was that it's very limited lunch time available for the pupils to eat. It's around only 15 to 30 minutes. The second country in our project was the Poland and the city of Gdańsk, which is a port city, about 450,000 residents, so a medium-sized city. It has 75 primary schools, 64 which have own kitchen, and 7 are using external caterers, and 4 are associated with the hospitals. Have around 60 to 1,000 pupils in schools, and there is also problem of very short lunch period, which is only 20 minutes available for the pupils to have their lunch, and this is causing the logistical problem. Then they have also strict regulations for the nutrition, which the schools have to follow. And the last case study country in our manual is the Lithuania, where we had 2 cities that worked within with the Foodloops project. Vilnius, which is the capital of Lithuania, is a large city, I would say, 630,000 residents and highly urbanized. And the second city we had is Panevėžys, which is a small city, 87,000 residents. In Vilnius, we have 76 schools, 500 pupils each, and Panevėžys has only 34 schools with 300 pupils, and it has also problem of 20 to 30 minutes short school lunch time. And all meals, they must comply with the national catering regulations. I will only present some highlights from one case study. I will not go into the other. I'll focus on Kuopio. In Kuopio, our partners, they did food survey at the beginning of the project, and they also had the meetings with the school administrations and stakeholders. Through those workshops and interviews, we identified the challenges to focus on within the project. So one of the challenge was the resistance to vegetarian meals, because traditionally the pupils in Finland and Kuopio, they tended to prefer the meat, be it diced, because it's a cold climate, so they like to eat more meat. So there's a resistance to vegetarian food. Then there's a short lunch break, as I said before, only 15 to 20 minutes. And the canteens are overcrowded, and the environment is not very appealing for the kids to eat there. And this both issues, they lead to production of high food waste. And there's also issue of poor demand prediction. There's no proper demand estimates for the procurement of the meals. And there's also limited involvement of the farmers in the school meal procurement. So what solutions they were co-developed with the stakeholders? They were, for example, renaming the vegetarian dishes to their original ingredients, and also involving the parents and the children and the school students in the development and designing of the menus, planning of the menus. This helps to increase, make the meals attractive for the children if they are involved in the designing of the menus. Then to improve the canteen logistics, as my colleague Ulla and Ani mentioned, to brand them as restaurants instead of canteens. So this through improving the aesthetics and food waste, and put up the screens where we show the data about the food waste to increase the awareness of the children about the food waste. Then to use the digital tools for meal pre-registration and food waste tracking. We are currently doing it as a pilot to use the digital tools for pre-registration for the meals in the schools, and we will evaluate the results and scale it up. And then lastly, to collaborate with the farmers and integrate them in the school education. The issue in Finland regarding the involvement of farmers is that there is only one large caterer, which is catering to the schools, which is Servica, and the legislation doesn't allow the procurement from small farmers. So we will create the recommendations to involve more the small farmers in the school procurement processes. And how did we bring the manual to the stakeholders? We run 2 workshops, one in Wuppertal, Germany, where my organization CSCP is based on. And this was inline and online, in-person and online hybrid workshop. And we also did one fully online. We did 2 replication workshops where we brought the manual to the stakeholders, and we trained them on the methodology of 5 steps to start the cooperation, build the capacity of the farmers, farmer associations, SMEs, school administrations and municipalities. And we also set up a roundtable in Wuppertal on the food roundtable on food in the region. So this roundtable is going to meet regularly every second month, and they will also adopt some of the best practices our partners have implemented in Poland, Finland, and Lithuania. And we are now currently translating the manual in the local languages of Finnish, Latvian, and Lithuanian and Polish to disseminate it widely across the region and also across the stakeholders, local stakeholders. So we are now on that, and we have also recorded a podcast where we also explain the benefits of the manual for the stakeholders, and this is going to be upcoming in next weeks. And lastly, I would like to raise your attention to the manual. It is available on the Interreg program portal. So we have it available as a PDF there. You are welcome to download it and read it. It has got a lot of useful information about the topic of food waste and also methodologies to foster cooperation for circular biowaste in your region. Thank you very much. With this, I stop.
This is sort of our result from Circular FoodShift project, and our task in this project was to create sort of a Circular FoodShift framework for these regions that participated in the project. And I'm going to give a sort of a short overview of the framework, and the framework will be published at the end of this month. How we conducted it is that we interviewed different stakeholders in Tartu region, Latgali region, and Vilnius. And at the same time, we visited different organizations' website and social media channels to kind of get some sort of an overview of issues that discussed in public or by the organization. And we have already published our first article. I will share the link after this when the presentations are shared with you, and we used this, and then we organized workshops, and then created these frameworks ideas, and then after this we have also a questionnaire which is now sent to wider audiences and different stakeholders, and you can also participate in it. So there is a link at the end of this presentation in which you can answer it. But the framework itself, it consists of the current situation, the gaps that we identified in this sort of developmental gaps, and then possible solutions. And the solutions are created for different stakeholders in food sector and in food systems, mainly for farmers, producers, entrepreneurs, and then private restaurants and school food. And the solutions that we have created are based on different good practices that we already found from during the interview process, and then we organized these workshops, and of course we use previous research that has been done in this field as a sort of a tool to create these ideas and develop these ideas further. So this framework sort of aims to support these different actors in the food chain when we are moving towards more circular and responsible and therefore resource efficient food production. So I'm not going to draw all in all, you will receive this presentation later, but all of these stakeholder and this framework aspects are defined as actions. So there is always the first action is the sort of redefining the role of various organizations in the food system, and sort of we try to analyze like this, that, okay, we found that there is this local, national and European Union level support for changing the linear food system, the circular economy exists, but then there are these gaps for small producers and small entrepreneurs, and therefore we kind of thought that the solution is that there is need for more collaboration between each other and create these policies and influence the policies and in order to create the favorable environment for making the broader adaptation possible. And then these are for small farmers, producers and entrepreneurs. And then we kind of divided these two chains. Kind of, this is more traditional food supply chain, and then there is the organic food supply chains, because we found out that there were kind of two different things that need to consider. And the same happens. We have the same issue also here in Finland, that we need these small entrepreneurs, either some sort of a support, but also they need to participate in local events and promote these sustainable or their production kind of with also the business to business, but as well to directly to consumers. So we need, for example, we have had events in our universities where we invite producers and restaurant owners together, and then they can talk with each other about their production and also make the sales. Then with organic value chains, we found out that there is room for new businesses. If sort of the organic production grows and the emphasis on it is growing, then there is a parts in this value chains that makes room for new businesses that support the organic value stream as well. And then of course, these collaborative networks are important. For example, if you think about sharing resources, let's talk about, for example, warehouses that are new technological. So there is then we can increase, for example, the season for local production. For example, in Finland, in Åland, they have Åland's Trade Card, which is a cooperative between apple farmers and vegetable farmers. They have this new tech warehouse where they can increase, for example, the season of locally produced of apples, for example, during the autumn. So one of the problem of food chain is that for example, the seasons are so short. So therefore, for example, investing to new warehouse technologies might increase the season that something is available for locally. So therefore, sort of these sharing these resources might be useful for local farmers. Then, of course, the measuring and minimizing waste, and of course there is a room, for example, valorization possibilities in local collaborative networks. So we have conducted here in Finland studies and research about the raw materials that might be available for somebody to use. And we found that also there are small producers in Baltic countries that are already sharing their raw materials which are going to waste and valorizing it by other companies. So this is sort of a thing that I think has a growth potential in Baltic states as well. Then for sustainable, this is sort of private restaurant organization. So the communication between different stakeholders and what we couldn't find was that although they were using local raw materials and local production, they were not sharing that information except maybe on menus and not and their social media, but they were kind of not sharing that information for producers as well. So maybe they should make publication and make it open in their website that, okay, give us a call and tell us your production. So then we can think about, for example, whether we buy it or not, and sort of what kind of raw materials they are seeking. So kind of also it's easier for farmer to contact directly if he or she knows that, okay, well, this is a possible avenue for my production as well. So kind of be more open that you are procuring these things for private entrepreneurs. Then, of course, kind of in private restaurants, it's all about portion sizes and preparations that has been done in advance, and also the cooking methods. Kind of because the organic and sustainable products and locally sourced products are more expensive for restaurants. So kind of then you need to adapt your menu planning and what do you do in advance, and then sort of sharing also the information with customers that you are using local products and you have some shared values in between you. So then they might be easier to justify the higher price also to the customer as well. And then this is sort of the kind of combination of local and private entrepreneurs that, for example, giving the benefit for the companies that have adopted these tourism marketing efforts, that have adopted these sustainable practices or local ingredients. So, for example, in Tartu region's website, the Green Key certified restaurants are on top of the list. So they kind of giving the benefit for those. And also in Finland, you have, in case you want to participate in international tourism marketing efforts, you have to have some sort of a certification of sustainability actions. So therefore, sort of these giving the benefit for those who are doing things might be beneficial for local tourism as well. And then, of course, the systematic menu planning is very important, and separating waste and so on. And kind of the problem is that there is not that much clear and understandable information available for private restaurateurs as well. Then for school food system, I think we need more political and financial development support. I think it's kind of for develop the local school food systems to take the advantage of circular economy. Then also there is we have put a lot of focus on this dynamic procurement system, and we have presented a process which will be part of the stakeholder that might be used as a kind of process how to implement it in country or locally as well. Then of course the sharing of best practices with other municipalities, kind of with the collaboration of food producer, and what we have done during this session as well. I think there has been really good examples and inspiration for us to move forward. And of course, kind of the last but not least is that there needs to be more education and training for kitchen staff, but also for educational institute, they need to take consideration that there has to be more education on sustainability, sustainable cooking, and so on, also in kind of regular curricula, and then kind of also motivate the kitchen staff to minimize waste and highlight their responsibility and the significance of their role. So there are lots of things that can be done in order this food system to move more circular. I think this was sort of really short,